Yeah, a Chinese social credit score totalitarian top-down system. Definitely trustworthy. History tells us this all the time. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Okradowski here of WeAreChange.org, and happy freaking New Year! We got a lot of craziness to get into in 2023, as of course the lunacy, the insanity, the instability does not stop here, and it only gets crazier, as in this video. We're going to be going over all the latest news happening right now, especially domestically, with a larger perspective and focus on the Pope, the Rothschilds coming together and re-envisioning capitalism. This, as one of the major banks and institutions calling for it, is in a very sticky situation. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you can get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, and the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was just kind of randomly shared on Twitter by @WallStreetSliv, but it looks like it was a video made specifically by @Parabanfana. We're going to put that down in the description below, especially if she has a YouTube channel, because her clip describing central bank digital currencies hit the nail on the head when it comes to describing the larger dangers our society faces, especially when it comes to more people getting more power, more control over everyone else. You ever heard about the creature from Jekyll Island, the U.S. Federal Reserve? Yeah, there are lots of things to talk about. We're going to be talking about the banking situation in just a little bit. All of this as there is a clear mental health crisis unfolding here in the United States that is becoming worse and worse by the year. This, as there's even some new studies showing how there's an increase of anxiety and depression, especially when it comes to picking the lesser of two evil puppets controlled by sinister dark forces who don't give a damn about you. And gee, I wonder why. All of this after PSYOP, people had enough. And hey, this could be why independent media is doing better than ever, as of course we even had our own advertisements in Times Square. Yes, you heard that correctly. My Mean Mug, along with the Graphene Crystal Merchant, and of course the Beanie Man, were prominently highlighted in yesterday's Times Square during New Year's Eve, promoting, of course, the podcast Timcast IRL that I co-host for. And with purchasing advertisements in Times Square, you also got a party with that, which me and the Beanie crew actually attended last night. And then we'd noticed during the party that there was a more significant tense NYPD presence, which we now know was because of a radical Islamist attack. According now to the many news sources reporting of this, of a young 19-year-old extremist using a machete on two rookie NYPD police officers. This as dozens of people were caught running away from the madness. This as, of course, the perp was shot in the shoulder and was rushed to a local hospital, later to be identified, and surprise, surprise, was also known to the FBI. We've heard that statement many times, but now we're getting official confirmation from the Daily Mail that he was on an FBI watch list and was an individual that even publicly talked about how he wanted to go fight in Afghanistan. Showing you just how fast, just how crazy things could change in a matter of moment. In related crazy people news, in Switzerland, there's a proposal that's going to be on a referendum that will call for very strict immigration controls in that country in order to limit the population of that country to 10 million people, all, of course, to quote, save the environment. This, as of course, Switzerland is a semi-direct democracy where people get to vote on popular referendums, and if enough people vote for them, they become law. Will this become the latest law of Switzerland? Well, only time will tell. In other related crazy people news, in the United Kingdom, the Telegraph is reporting that women now in prison will face extra criminal charges and a longer jail time if they, of course, misgender a fellow inmate, calling them, quote, he or him. Yes, you heard that correctly. This is rules that are being explained under the equity rules, where women are told specifically, when we put in inmates with male genitalia into your cell, you better not use the wrong pronouns or you're going to be staying longer with that person with male genitalia inside of that prison cell. Yeah, that definitely seems fair there. In other absolute crazy news, left-wing crazy lady Cher has a major case of the flu, which she's blaming somehow on people not taking a procedure against another sickness. All of this has, very interestingly, a lot of mainline doctors and scientists that are usually regurgitated on the corporate media are reporting that in New York City, there's a very new, dangerous variant coming out of here and here only. This says it's important to note here that there have been more procedures giving out, more medical intervention in New York City than almost any other place on the face of this earth. And now we're hearing that in this place of compliance, in this place where people did almost everything that they were told to do, the nanny state that is New York, that willingly obeyed with every procedure, every mandate, every action that the government told them to do. The government told them to jump, they said how high. And now, according to some of these mainline medical professionals, there's a new variant, XBB.1.5, that is, quote, rapidly spreading predominantly out of the place that did everything that they were told to do. Gee, what a coincidence. And of course, we kind of explained on our own website, lukeuncensored.com, what really is kind of going on here, what the other scientific discussions and understanding of this is. But I have to stop it here and save that for a topic of discussion for tomorrow. As of today, we wanted to remind you about thebestpoliticalshirts.com, where you can get amazing shirts like the one that I'm wearing right now. We just released 2 shirts this week, one specifically showing Waffle House Wendy, and another one documenting my pride in Poland, being, of course, historically against the far left and the far right. We, of course, are not fans of any of these larger ideologies, and historically speaking, decentralization, independence, freedom, personal responsibility is the way out of a lot of this nonsense. And you start there by helping people think independently for themselves. And one way that you can do that is just by simply getting a shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Last night in Times Square during the little party, I was wearing this shirt, and a lot of people were kind of looking at it. We're kind of thinking, a bunch of people came up to me and they're like, I didn't get it at first, but genius, happy you're wearing this. Abso-freaking-lutely. This is a shirt. These are the larger ideas that help break the matrix, but also help bring people from the left and right together. Because if there ever was an issue, if there ever was a specific issue that made people realize that the whole system is corrupt, that the whole system is rotten, that something wrong is happening here, it is specifically around this story, which we're going to be talking about in just a little bit. And we have a lot of shirts related to this idea and many other ideas that bridge the gap, that make people laugh, that will make some people angry, but more importantly, will also help you find like-minded individuals, critical thinkers, and friends in your local communities. And this is why I can't recommend enough going to thebestpoliticalshirts.com and getting yourself a t-shirt or a tank top or a sweater or a hat, you name it. We got it all on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. Check them out right now, as we're going to be moving towards a new business model where we're only going to have a limited amount of shirts for a specific amount of time that are only going to be available for you. Right now, you can get whatever you want, but we're going to be changing up that system. So if you haven't yet, check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And if you guys have any issues related to customer support, you could always reach out and we will make things right for you. We will fix whatever problems. There are sometimes problems that happen. They happen rarely, but when they do, we're here to fix them. Email us, message us, and we will fix your problem right away. And you could also, of course, message the merchants that we work with that also will fix your problem right away. So again, check out thebestpoliticalshirts.com right now. So in December of 2020, there was a very interesting article released by Quartz detailing how there was a new Rothschild Coalition coming together that involved the Vatican, the Pope, major banks like Bank of America, major corporations like BP, Estee Lauder, Johnson & Johnson, financial institutions like MasterCard, big pharma organizations like Merck, and many others like Salesforce, Visa, and of course, let's not forget the Rockefeller Foundation, that were all teaming up under a new coalition being organized by Lynn Foster D. Rothschild that was, quote, going to re-envision capitalism and create a new world financial order. Now, why am I saying this? Why am I bringing this up now? As, of course, this was 2+ years ago. Well, after this kind of larger announcement, there have been a lot of crazy things that have been happening with our financial institutions. There's been a larger promotion about the ideas of the ESG CCC, a corporate social credit score that has been promoting woke ideologies all in the name of equity, when in reality they're pushing larger woke ideologies that destroy the family unit and promotes more kind of behavior that makes people better consumers. All of this while, of course, also debanking a whole bunch of individuals, as we have seen since this announcement, that many high-profile individuals, whether it was Ye, whether it was the Pillow Guy, whether it was Canadian truckers daring to, of course, peacefully protest, all of these individuals, along with many other political pundits, YouTubers, commentators, people in the political sphere, have been debanked and had their bank accounts shut down, frozen, and have been unable to financially transact out of some of the biggest financial institutions in this world. All of this, as of course everyone recently now is talking about Andrew Tate and his recent arrest. Before this, they were all talking about Ye and Kanye West. All of this, as we have to understand, these larger financial institutions have a long history and record of doing some extremely awful things. So for them to sit on the high chair here and declare their larger involvement in our society, programming it to their liking, promoting wokeness, promoting degeneracy, promoting the destruction of our social order, we have to remember that these people have a very long history of doing some absolutely awful, horrible things, as now the U.S. Virgin Islands is officially going after JP Morgan and Chase, filing a lawsuit against them on December 27th of last year, saying that JP Morgan Chase, quote, knowingly facilitated, sustained, and concealed Mr. Epstein's human trafficking operation that they financially benefited from. Now, of course, if you know, we've been reporting on this for a very long time, specifically bringing up, hey, why didn't Deutsche Bank, why didn't Brown Brothers and Harriman, why didn't JP Morgan and Chase actually do something here? As of course, there was huge amounts of money being moved back and forth illegally in many ways, breaking rules, breaking regulations, breaking reporting guidelines. How is it possible that a man that no one knows where his money came from was able to move such huge sums of money without any kind of larger accounting or transparency behind it? Why was he able to continue to, of course, take small children, put them on an island, and then invite his very powerful friends to do whatever they wanted to him? Why was he able to do that? Well, he had a lot of money. Why did he have a lot of money? He had a lot of access to money. Why did he have a lot of access to money? Why was he able to move money around like no one else was without any kind of reporting or regulation? Well, those are questions that I think everyone should be asking themselves, as this lawsuit is a major lawsuit. This lawsuit is accusing the financial institutions of playing a major key role in this, the same institutions that are trying to tell you how morally you should be living your life. This, as of course, also other people who were abused by Jeffrey Epstein are coming forward and are suing JP Morgan and Chase and Deutsche Bank in two actual separate lawsuits, saying that they also participated and assisted in the larger trafficking operation that was happening here. And they wouldn't be the only major institution in our society that, of course, played a major significant role here. As, of course, many local police departments, many judges, many prosecutors, many politicians, all in one way or another, were playing a very key active role here in this larger operation that was run by this front man, Mr. Epstein. This, as the Daily Mail is even calling it, the Bank of Epstein, detailing a long history of controversies with the bank, as they, of course, just paid off Harry and Meghan Markle in order to give a speech to them. This, as of course, their practices have been blamed on triggering financial crises. They worked with other scam artists like Bernie Madoff before, and holy cow, what's really happening with JP Morgan and Chase? What's happening behind the scenes? How involved are they? Well, I think we're going to be finding out with some disclosures from these two major bombshell legal court proceedings that are going to be moving forward in 2023 that we, of course, are going to be keeping a very close eye on. All of this as, of course, the big banks are trying to squash these lawsuits. And hey, for us, at least, that's something to look forward to in 2023. And hopefully the victims here and the people coming forward trying to get some actual justice for this larger travesty, for this larger controversy, for, of course, these major institutions playing some kind of role here is, I think, one reason more than ever why we should not go along with them tracking, watching, and keeping even more control of us through central bank digital currencies, which, of course, they plan to institute and roll out with their full participation, which essentially will mean the full enslavement of humanity. But hey, that's just my own personal opinion. That's my take on it. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more on wearechange.org. Get a shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com.